here and you don't stop.
Cause it's 187 on an undercover car.
Joe Bryant, aka Daddy Mamba, played 8 years in the NBA in the late 70s and early 80s with the Sixers, Rockets, and San Diego Clippers. There are 2 reasons you probably never heard of this. One is that in an era where big men were legally required to register the paint as their permanent address, Bryant was a versatile power forward with a mid-range game and footwork reminiscent of his son's.
This is blasphemy. This is madness.
So obviously he didn't get a lot of minutes, even though he did put Kareem on a nice poster. Reason number 2 is that he was involved in a police chase with cocaine in his car. On May 5th, 1976, coming off his rookie season in Philadelphia, a 21-year-old Joe got pulled over for a broken taillight. He pretended to look for his driver's license and then floored it. After he crashed his car, the police finally got him. He was facing drug possession, reckless driving, and resisting arrest. Thanks to multiple character witnesses, including his teammates, coaches, and even the team owner, Bryant was found not guilty.
You can't touch this.
Charles Barkley was always a real one, on the court and off of it.
I am not a role model.
Like bad toilet paper, he never took shit from anyone. In December of 1991, Chuck got approached by 3 gym bros outside a Milwaukee bar. "Charles, I hear you're one of the baddest dudes in the NBA. You're so tough on the court. Show me how tough you are." To scare them off, Charles took off his clothes in the snow and did his best Karate Kid impression to get him to think he was crazy. That worked on 2 of them. The third ended up eating Barkley's left fist, knocking him back 5 to 8 feet and leaving him with a broken nose. Charles spent a few hours in jail and got out on a $500 bond. In October of 1997, Chuck got arrested for another bar fight, this time in Orlando. He was being heckled by a drunk patron who then threw ice at him, for which Barkley threw him through a glass window. At 5'2", 110 pounds, the guy was about half the size of Charles, and according to witnesses, Charles just picked him up and flung him like he was a toy.
It beat him like a dog.
He got off with a $320 fine and community service, even though aggravated battery can get you locked up for as much as 15 years. Plus, Charles was threatening the cops who came to arrest him. In court, he was asked if he had any regrets, to which he said, "I regret we weren't on a higher floor."
Damn! I've been arrested, I think, 4 times. It's either 6 or 4.
Whatever it is, I do it.
Matt Barnes was never an all-star, and his stats will make you wonder why you even know his name. But when Mamba himself wants you on your team, you know you're hard AF.
Bitch, I will cut you.
Kobe's exact words were, "If you're crazy enough to f with me, you're crazy enough to play with me." On the Lakers, Barnes became teammates with Derrick Fisher.
Bruh.
And you know where this is going.
I'm f***ing yo bitch.
That time he drove 95 miles to fight Fisher for dating his ex-wife is legendary, but the details are even crazier. He was fully expecting to go to jail, because on the way he called up Gilbert Arenas and told him he might need a bail later.
Honorable mention for redefining the shooting guard position.
Upon arrival, he jumped over the fence and proceeded to chase Fish all around the house with his barbecue guests watching. Barnes had 0 regrets about the 2-game suspension, because even though violence is never the answer, sometimes it is. Derrick Coleman was the first overall pick in 1990 and Rookie of the Year in 1991. According to Shaq, he was the only player who ever dunked on him chest to chest.
Around to him, he did me like that in front of everybody, and I looked up at my mom and dad. And
As a power forward who could dominate the post, stretch the floor, and handle the ball, he could have been legendary, but his attitude and off-court issues put a stop to that. Because 16 years after his departure, he still leads the NBA in career arrests with 7. Most of those were boring DUIs, but one story does stand out. On August 9th, 1999, him, Thomas Hearns, and Jalen Rose were having dinner at a Detroit restaurant. Suddenly, Coleman allegedly got up and started relieving himself right in the dining room, adding to his arrest total with a disorderly conduct. He pled no contest and said he actually got up to wipe off a drink spilled on his pants. And even though his side of the story is a lot more believable, the story itself is still fucking hilarious. Alvin Robertson is a 3-time All-Star, one of only 5 guards to win Defensive Player of the Year, and the only guard to record a quadruple-double. On the court, he was one of the greatest defenders of the 80s. Michael Jordan even called him one of the toughest son bitches he ever played against. Off the court, his thing was offense, of the criminal variety. His most infamous legal battle went from 2010 to 2015. He was found not guilty after being falsely accused of child sex trafficking.
Bruh.
But even before that, he was far from a saint. He got arrested 5 times in 14 months between 1995 and 1996 when he was playing for the Toronto Raptors.
Robertson actually scored the first basket in franchise history.
Those all came from terrorizing his ex-girlfriend, which included busting up her BMW, smashing up her apartment, and choking her while biting her face.
Emotional anger issue problem.
So, after making a living locking guys up on defense,
Please help.
he got locked up himself for a whole year and never played in the NBA again. Shame it had to end like that, because at 2.71 steals a game, he just might be the best perimeter defender in NBA history. An underrated moment for Malice at the Palace was when Steven Jackson floored a fan with a literal falcon punch.
Falcon punch!
Despite being suspended for 30 games, losing $1.7 million in salary, Jackson later had this to say.
All the racial slurs I done heard, all the things I done heard about my mom and my basketball game and my kids and all this, it felt good to punch a fan one time.
Bruh. I don't give a fuck.
In October of 2006, he was involved in a strip club altercation.
Rio Club Rio.
It ended up spilling into the streets where Jackson was intentionally hit by a car.
In the parking lot and hit me going like 35, 40 miles per hour. Boom, knocked me in the air. He gone, all kind of shit.
After that, he still got up and shot his pistol into the air, which earned him a criminal recklessness charge because those bullets come back down at around 90 miles an hour.
That's straight gangster right there.
No gangster list would be complete without Zach Randolph. Z-Bo started off his NBA career in 2001 with the infamous Portland Jailblazers. There, he had stand-up teammates like professional referee fighter Bonzi Wells, dogfight promoter Quintal Woods, and registered sex offender Ruben Patterson. From there, we've seen the GD pool table.
The Gangster Disciples, GD, are a street gang which was formed in the south side of Chicago in the 60s.
And the Free Larry Hoover poster.
Larry Hoover is a founder of the GDs, currently serving 6 lives.
On MTV Cribs, we saw the trap phone, and that time he had his crew beat up a drug dealer for charging too much for weed at a house party. Ever hear of a noise complaint going so wrong that the police had to call backup? Z-Bo was at a wild party like that in the summer of 2017, in a Watts housing project, right after his trade to the Sacramento Kings, where he got arrested with 2 pounds of the sticky icky. Hoo-wee. Luckily, he was able to beat the intent to sell charge, which would have given him a lifetime ban from the NBA if convicted. Unfortunately, he still had to serve 2 years with the Kings.